What you do in the first 5 minutes of a discovery call can make or break the entire conversation, so no pressure. Now, luckily, there are things you can do to dramatically reduce your odds of the call going poorly. This is where setting the rules of engagement comes in. Picture this. You're waiting at the doctor's office. You're sitting on crinkly exam paper, wearing that paper-thin gown that does absolutely nothing for your self-esteem. And suddenly the doctor bursts in with a quick, "Hey, how are ya?" Then dives right into an exam. No discussion about what's about to happen, no expectations set, just a flurry of pokes and prods that make you wish you never showed up. This is how a discovery call can feel for buyers when you don't lay the proper groundwork. Awkward, invasive, maybe even a little bit offensive. So you've got to earn the right to dig into your buyer's challenges by first setting what I call the rules of engagement. Setting the rules of engagement simply means creating a clear, mutual understanding between you and the buyer regarding how the rest of the call will proceed. While doing this doesn't guarantee success, it certainly helps. It helps keep your conversations on track if, say, your buyer comes at you with, "Just show me the product," or gets annoyed with all your questions. It eliminates buyer friction by establishing a clear framework for the call. And it helps you get to their true pain faster by paving the way for a productive conversation. So what does setting the rules of engagement look like? It looks like managing expectations and getting alignment from your buyer on 3 things: the objective, the agenda, and the next decision. Getting alignment on the objective means establishing the outcome you and your buyer are trying to achieve by the end of the call. Alignment on the agenda means establishing the line items that will be discussed in service of the objective. And then alignment on the next decision means establishing what decision you both agree will be made at the end of the call. Now, this all sounds fine and dandy, but how do you actually do this? How do you translate the rules of engagement into a real-life call with actual humans? Here's what the first 5 minutes of your discovery calls should look like. Spend the first minute or so on some basic small talk. Talk about something basic just to kind of warm up the call. I've seen one too many salespeople jump right into business, which can feel a little bit jarring for most buyers. Once you sense it's time to switch gears, transition into business with something to the effect of, "Do you mind if we talk about the agenda?" Now we get into the rules of engagement. The key to success here is to make your buyer feel like they're in control of the conversation. And you're going to do this by using what I call softening statements. These sound something like this. "Here's what I'm thinking. Let me know if you have a different agenda in mind." This helps your buyer feel like they have veto power over your suggestions and gives them a sense of control during the conversation, even though you're actually the one driving it. All right, now you go into explaining how you're thinking about the call. That might look like this. For the objective, the outcome I recommend we shoot for is fill in the blank. For the agenda piece, it sounds like this. To get there, here's what I have in mind, and then you're gonna fill in the blank. And then finally, for the next decision piece, it might sound like this. By the end of this call, I'd like you to be in a position where you can decide, fill in the blank. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that the next decision is not a buying decision. It's actually just a concrete decision that will either move the deal forward or stop it in its tracks, such as scheduling a next step or alternatively parting ways with the buyer. Finally, you're gonna end this talk track with saying, "Does that feel fair?" This is a powerful phrase. Again, it gets the buyer feeling like they're in control, but it also gets them likely to agree with the agenda that you proposed, assuming that you actually put some thought into it. So there you have it. I've given you the blueprint for the first 5 minutes of your discovery calls. Now I want you to put it all into practice. I want you to plan and write down your rules of engagement for an upcoming call, and then I want you to reflect and assess what can be improved for next time. So to do this, you can use the talk track and the worksheet provided in the resources section of this course. Otherwise, let's dive into the heart of discovery, which is asking the right questions to uncover your buyer's true challenges. I'll see you in the next lesson.